So there was a story which just perfectly underlines it. It's a story about masturbation as well, so it perfectly encapsulates the self-serving wankery of the modern American journalist. Let me show you the story. Oh, wait, it's on Vice. Will it work? Yeah, it will. Jeffrey Toobin. Now, Jeffrey Toobin, or as some people have called him, yes, Jeffrey Coomin. You've rightly identified that. Congratulations. This is a guy who's been the chief, legal advisor, analyst for CNN. They have him on. Oh, is what Trump doing this time? Is that illegal, Jeffrey? Well, I'm going to say yes because I'm a complete biased and partisan hack, and I'm going to say yes. This is absolutely illegal and will not be held up in any court of law. And then, of course, it is held up in a court of law. He gets to keep coming back, and the world keeps turning. Just shit spat into your eyes every day by major American networks. He writes for the New Yorker. He writes. I think he's even done some other columns with people such as Vice and whatnot. He's just another one of those, lefty journalist barnacles. And like most lefty journalist barnacles, he's a fucking fiend. Deep down in his core, he's not a good person. So, what he decided to do, and this is what happened. I know you're going to find it hard to believe. But, obviously, during quarantine, we're all cooped up, aren't we? I'm cooped up, you're cooped up. And so what do? We have meetings over Zoom. We could have been doing that before the pandemic and saving money and helping the environment and making everyone's quality of life better. But no, you had to go into the office, but now you don't. And now we're all going to do Zoom. And this guy is a sex pest. So what he decided to do, what he wanted to do, was during a meeting with several high-profile, high-powered female employees, he wanted to turn off his camera and sit there and masturbate listening to their voices. You're so powerful and female. Now, the problem is, he's a boomer. And by virtue of being a non-principled modern American journalist, not very intelligent. And so he left the camera on and the sound on and proceeded to crank his hog in front of those same high-powered everyone on the Zoom call. The New Yorker has suspended reporter Jeffrey Toobin for masturbating on a Zoom video chat between members of the New Yorker and WNYC Radio last week. Toobin says he did not realize his video was on. I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake, believing I was off camera. Now, I'm going to get into the rest of his statement in a moment, right? But do you see the fundamental problem with this apology? Because he seems to think if he sits there with his headphones on and muted and his camera off, but masturbates during a work call, it's all fine. In fact, you will notice he says, I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake. Well, Jeffrey, what is the mistake, Jeffrey? Could the mistake be masturbating during a work call? No. The mistake, you see, was not turning the camera off. I apologize to my wife, family, friends, and co-workers. You'll notice he also leaves out the people that aren't his co-workers that were on the call. I believed I was not visible on Zoom. I thought no one on the Zoom call could hear me. I thought I had muted the Zoom video, he added. Which is also hilarious. Just the idea that, like, he has such a loud dick. Two people who were on the call told Vice separately that the call was an election simulation featuring many of the New Yorker's biggest stars. Jane Mayer was playing establishment Republicans. Evan Osnos was Joe Biden. Jelani Cobb was establishment Democrats. Masha Gessen played Donald Trump. Andrew Morantz was the far right. Sue Halpern was left-wing Democrats. Dexter Filkins was the military. And Jeffrey Toobin playing the courts. There were also a handful of other producers on the call from the New Yorker and the WNYC. The sources said that when the groups returned from their breakout rooms, Toobin lowered the camera. The people on the call said they could see Toobin touching his penis. Toobin then left the call. Moments later, he called back in, seemingly unaware of what his colleagues had been able to see, and the simulation continued. Now, I'm sure you guys aren't as interested. By the way, if ever there was just a sentence in any article that just summed up 2020, and the simulation continued, is it really? But anyway, I know you guys don't follow these journalist hack grifters to the same degree I do. I'll be honest about it. I suppose in the same way I say, if you're obsessed with American politics, there's probably something wrong with you, or if you think hating Trump is a substitute for a personality, there's something wrong with you. I think probably being obsessed with the tedious lives of these hacks and shills probably means there's something wrong with me. But whatever, we're all in it together. Just like the Expensify CEO told us. But I just want to underline, right, a few things. So remember as well, keep this in your head. Jeffrey Toobin has repeatedly on CNN, for the New Yorker, criticized Trump across the board, universally. He hates Trump. He makes it known. Everything is, viewed through that lens. He is a never Trumper. Now, a few little bits of history that you might want to know. And I'm always loath to bring up Gawker because may it rest in piss forever. Is it even going to open? Can we have a Gawker? Am I going to have to get the archive? This is why I need just a full-time producer. Or perhaps even a split personality who's capable of pressing more buttons. Right. Well, anyway, you'll have to take me at my word. There is a Gawker article. You can Google it. It's entitled Too Hot for Print. CNN anchor Jeffrey Toobin's rumored XXX sex fetish. And basically, this came out at a time when he was being accused of, he was denouncing a love child that he'd fathered, I think, in 2009. And this came out the following year. It was kind of like one of the early proto-Me Too's in media. Jeffrey Toobin had been accused of following women and trying to barge into their hotel rooms and whispering creepy shit in their ear. So he's been known as a sex pest for a while. But because he hates Trump, he has a career in modern media. I'll also just highlight a tweet. Keep in mind, by the way, I hope we can all agree, masturbating in front of people is a sex crime. It is sexual harassment. I think we can all agree with that. I certainly hope we can. This was one of his classic tweets. 40% of the Republican appointees to the Supreme Court have been credibly accused of sexual misconduct. Womp, 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 womp. Now that's you, Jeffrey Toobin. Also, you were credibly accused prior to this. Now you got 2 strikes. But anyway, surely the media who have gone on, Me Too, powerful men, this shit-stomped Louis C.K., right? What did Louis C.K. do? That's right, masturbated in front of people. With the proviso, by the way. And I've said it, there's a power differential. I didn't like it. I was not one of those blind Louis C.K. supporters. Haha, bald man funny. Haha, whipping your dick out in front of women okay. No, I wasn't doing that. It was definitely misrepresented by the media as to how severe it was. But remember, in all of those cases, including famously Sarah Silverman, who came forward, they said he asked, and they said, yes, it's fine, masturbate in front of me. Maybe they did it because they were scared he would hold it against him if they said no, separate issue, but he asked permission. Jeffrey Toobin, on the other hand, simply got his knob out and thought, haha, I'm going to masturbate while listening to my female employees' colleagues' voices because I'm a sick fuck, you see. So, what do you think the media had to say about this? Well, let me just tell you. If you say you hate the orange man, you can commit sex crimes. Turns out they'll let you do it. Oh, they've deleted it, have they? Man, how do they know I'm going to stream? How do they know I'm going to stream? And then they delete the tweets just before I go live. Right, hang on. Right, here's one of his other tweets. He did a lot, all defending Jeffrey Toobin. Here's one. When Occam's razor suggests someone humiliated himself through a combo of technological error, pandemic circumstances, bad judgment, and bad luck, it seems like we should react with empathy, politeness, and forgiveness, as we would want to be treated rather than punitive mockery. You see, this sort of suggests that he wasn't deliberately masturbating as part of some twisted kink while listening to women's voices, which he was, you see. That was what. Why else would you choose to do it then? On a work call. It's an extension of his known creepy sex pestery. But that is Connor Friedersdorf from The Atlantic, the same publication that obviously was all over Trump saying, when you're rich, they let you do anything, right? They let you do anything, and they said, President Trump confesses to sexual assault in a complete hypothetical that never occurred and with consent explicitly stated in the sentence. But that's fine. So The Atlantic were all over defending him. Vox. Because, of course, why not? He attempted a sex crime, but he does hate Trump. This was German Lopez from Vox. Not sure someone getting caught doing something almost everyone does should be a national story. Interesting. This is Vox, whose chief features writer has just a feed of every unbelievable minutia as it relates to Donald Trump. He's taking off his mask. What did he mean by this? People do this every day. Why is it a story? One of American culture's worst qualities, And a key contributor to problems like mass incarceration is our propensity to punish and humiliate people with little regard to proportionality, said writer at publication that tried to end Stephen Crowder's career, predicated on lies and some truths. I couldn't even, if I was to sit here now and go through all of Vox's pathetic attempts at cancel culture, how many do you think I'd find? BuzzFeed took an interesting stance on it, because they're BuzzFeed. Again, apologies for night mode. Jeffrey Toobin can't be the only person masturbating on work Zoom calls. I'm gonna say, let's hope he is. I'm just gonna go out there and say, maybe there are a few, other sick fucks out there that do this. But maybe he should be the only one, and he's been caught and suspended, not fired, by the way, suspended. So maybe. But this rush to kind of normalize it, you'll also notice, remember, these dickheads all sit in Slack groups with each other. They all sit in Slack and they go, oh, shit, man, one of our Slack buddies has been caught doing something wrong. What's the prescribed angle of defense? Well, this is to normalize masturbation. By doing that, if we normalize masturbation, we can somehow normalize masturbating in front of people at work, maybe? No, what an absolute joke. And it didn't stop there. The New York Daily News did it as well. Same angle of attack, obviously on the same Slack. Here it is. Jeffrey Toobin and the M-word. Let's be honest about what makes this scandal so scandalous. That's by Professor Jonathan Zimmerman. I'll tell you what makes it so scandalous. That it has been a long-held agreement in society that exposing your genitals to people in a non-consensual way, in a non-consensual sexual environment, is wrong and is a crime. That's it, really. I mean, in a nutshell, I don't know what else to tell you. But there was a good little paragraph. Where was it? Yeah. That it says here, the West invented the autonomous individual endowed with natural rights, but liberty was dangerous too. Freed from constraints, the individual could easily descend into corruption and vice. Masturbation embodied all of those fears. It was solitary, fueled by fantasies that each person invented, and when that started, there was no telling when it would stop. So it was decried as self-abuse, the evil downside of individual freedom. Doctors linked it to epilepsy, impotence, and insanity, and they began to advocate for routine male circumcision, which supposedly deterred masturbation. And while the Bible didn't condemn the practice directly, it actually... Oh, he does say that. Christians interpreted the passage about Onan, who spilled his seed to avoid impregnating his brother's wife, to constitute a prohibition on masturbation. You see, what Toobin was doing was a revolutionary act of freedom, and it's really our suppressed sexual views that are the problem, because if you don't like creepy men cranking it in front of women during work calls, it really speaks to your, deep-seated sexual repression. Remember, they let you do it when you're a journalist. Journalists will defend anything. If you think these people are a little bit A little bit like down the totem pole in terms of journalism. Don't worry. You can always rely on Brian Stelter, the human embodiment of comfort eating, to come out and basically say, he'll make the apologies for his little tribe of journalists. Jeffrey Toobin has been sidelined at a pivotal moment in the run-up to the presidential election. The reason? He exposed himself during a Zoom call with New Yorker colleagues and what he says was an accident. Here's our full story. Now, first of all, imagine a world where Donald Trump accidentally masturbated in front of someone. In fact, just imagine a world where anyone with even a vague right-wing leaning or history masturbated in front of somebody else. Imagine the news media and how they would handle that, right? But let's move away. That's whataboutism, isn't it? Probably. You don't need to. But how can it be accidental? Like, right, guys, I've lived a life, right? Like, you all know me. It's a running fucking meme on this channel. He's done everything. Is there any job he hasn't had? Difference was, right, back in my day, we didn't have the internet and fucking social media and fucking mobile phones with fucking the internet on it and all that. We didn't have any of that shit. So you just had to go out and do things. That's why it seems so unbelievable. It's not. I mean, like, if you talk to anyone of my generation, they've all done crazy shit. I could sit here and, all my mates have all had a similar life, but whatever. But despite that crazy life of all the travels and all the drugs and wacky tales and, I have never accidentally masturbated. Never. And I love masturbation. I think it's fucking great. Love it. It's part of my daily routine. I'll skip out on a diet. I'll fucking skip out on doing I'll skip out on doing the fucking washing up. I'll skip out on a shower. But you better believe I will always get my fucking 3 a day in. Minimum. But never accidentally. Never accidentally. I've never looked down at, my erect penis is in my hand. Like, that's never happened to me ever. Like, if it's there, it's intentional. I know what that intent is. I don't know what else to say. But Brian Stelter is peddling this notion that you can accidentally masturbate in front of your work colleagues because a CNN contributor did it. Now, I'll save the best for last on the matter of Jeffrey Toobin. I have never seen anything so insane. Remember, he hates Trump. That's why I told you to keep that in your mind. He hates Trump. So he's a hero, in a way. And during these dark times, as we've seen from Expensify, we need heroes. We need heroes to go out and vote for Biden and stop civil war. So the Toronto Star put this out. Opinion. Jeffrey Toobin didn't cover himself in glory or regrettably anything else. It's funny when you commit sex crimes if you're a lefty journalist. In that fateful Zoom call, but CNN and his country need him. His country needs him. All he does is sit there. Well, I'm going to say that orange man bad. Orange man is bad. And maybe the orange man has broke the law by being bad this time. But actually, no, the courts have upheld it on appeal again. So I'll see you next week when I'll be saying that the orange man is bad. Like, you're a worm. Like, you serve absolutely no long-term functional purpose. A country needs, frontline medical and healthcare workers. A country needs people that prop up the backbone of industry. The country needs truck drivers keeping food connections and food lines up during a global pandemic when supply lines are breaking down naturally and demand is up and stockpiling is up. These are the essential building blocks of a country in a crisis, not some overpaid, overprivileged white twat who's a sex pest getting paid a fortune to say the same insipid thing every other overpaid, overprivileged white twat journalist from a coastal city says. No, your country doesn't need you. In fact, your country needs people like you to go away, stay gone. And you cannot even fire the guy. He's been suspended. There was a statement saying, yeah, he'll probably be all right and he can come back later or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. Right now, guys, I've just got some business to attend to. I'm just going to turn the camera off. Fucking hell, straight dark side filling it. Can you even imagine? Fuck me. I get mad paranoid about that. The room's just off limits. It's like I remember when I was at school, and I know this is a lie, but you must have heard this one. You know, with the fucking the you know, your mate tells you, goes, "Oh, I had a nightmare. It was horrible." I had my headphones on, and my eyes closed, and I was wanking. And when I finished, there was a cup of tea next to me. Someone must have told you that one. And obviously, the point is, like, you know, your mum's come in and put a cup of tea next to you, and you're just there, like, wait. Loads of people love telling that lie for some reason. I mean, I don't know. It never appealed to me, that one. You know, made up a story or two in my time for the purposes of comedy and entertainment. Don't really see how that one works, really. Like, so what? You jerked it in front of your mum? Yeah, nightmare. Don't know. That one's not working for me, fam. Like, you know. You know, it was one of those ones that went around, you know, like, when I was growing up, it was Prince, rest his soul, who had his ribs removed so he could suck himself off, and then, you know, then it became Marilyn Manson. I was old enough to see that changing of the guy. I wonder who it was before Prince. I wonder, in fact, if in, like, the 1920s they were going, well, that FDR had his ribs removed. Like, just, you know, I don't know. Was there always a guy that was having his ribs removed to suck himself off? I don't know. Rod Stewart, maybe? I don't know. But I was there. I saw the changing of the guard. It was Prince. He had his ribs removed. Didn't, of course. Had all his ribs. Do you reckon they checked that at autopsy? It's like really stupid. Like, this is why I don't do stand-up anymore. Do you reckon, like, the coroner was like, I've got to get to the bottom of this, and there's dead Prince, and he's like, 1, 2, 3. He's like counting the ribs. Never mind. Save that one for the HBO special. I have to wait for Marilyn Manson to die so I can, like, bring him all up to date one for the Zoomers. But anyway, it's just madness. His country needs him. Chronic sex pest masturbator. We need you. Get back out there and say Orange Man bad. No one is doing that right now. Fucking hell. What a mess.